know this is a video overlay, just because it was very loud in my house when I did this. Now, all these measurements that I'm doing, I thought were practical for making this, but it turns out that none of them were. What you actually need to do is print out a hexagon with the same length as whatever you're going to be shooting. Like a rock that I'm using here is about 4 inches, so I need to make 4-inch hexagonal thing, meaning each side of the hexagon is about 4 inches, which will make me a nice big pouch to shoot it with. Now here I'm showing the different pouches that I have experience with. This one is a square pouch. Any pouch that has symmetry with length and width will work, meaning you could even make a star one as long as it's the same on every side. Why I like it is because it's easier. This one is my self-tightening one, which does have inherent problems, meaning sometimes it doesn't release it, but it doesn't close that much, so it doesn't usually find me any trouble. Like I said, I thought I needed all these measurements. Now this one I'm just saying it's 4 inches, meaning it needs about 2 inches on each side so it grips it properly. Some people like to go 1 inch, but I like to go 2 inches just because. Now it is very important that you find the exact dead center of it, and also showing the lines of symmetry like I'm showing here. This will help you center in your holes that we're going to be making in there so we can attach our string. I'm just showing you different ways how to make sure that you show the perfect lines of symmetry so we can make those holes perfectly in relation to each other, meaning it's going to be a half an inch on either side to make the holes. Now the way that I did it did give me a hexagonal shape at the end. It's just a lot more labor intensive. You can probably just print out a hexagon, which would work a lot better, but I'm a little bit old-fashioned, so I just did it a little bit more, primitive way of doing it, which is a little bit better in my case. But for you, how big is your object you're going to be shooting? What is the diameter of it? Then take that diameter. That's how you should measure on each individual side, like I said earlier. I'm using 4-inch projectile, so this is a 4 inches on every single side to make a nice big pouch. I do like hexagonal pouches a lot better than rectangular or oval pouches that you will see once you start making these, or even diamond shapes, just because there's a lot more area and there's a lot more variance in projectiles that you can shoot. And the disadvantages of having a hexagonal pouch versus another form of pouch is that lighter projectiles don't really work too well. And this is just, for the big heavy stuff. It's big or it's heavy enough to stay in the pouch, or big enough to where you need a nice big pouch and it will grip on there a lot better than a oval or a lip or a diamond or any other shape that I could find. It doesn't mean that other pouches are inferior. This is my matter of preference. Just like I prefer long sling over a short sling, that does not mean that long sling is better, it just has more power. Now explain this, further on. I'm just using normal yarn that I picked up at the store. You can use any line that you want to. If it's thicker, it won't tangle as much. So I weave it, or braid it, or crochet it, whatever you want to call it, to make it a lot thicker. So I'm just doing stuff with my hands right now, just to, fill in time. This is a video overlay, and I don't know how much I'm actually going to be talking. I'm not going to be using paracord, but I will show a video of a sling using thicker line than this, showing the same method. Hello there. Okay, now I'm actually talking. Now we're going to figure out how long you want your arm to be. Remember, there's 2 arms and there's 1 pouch. What you want to do is you want to take a meter stick, jam it right up in there, extend your arm fully as long as it can go, and stick out your middle finger, okay? So you know what is the maximum distance of your string. Mine is exactly 30 inches. The second measurement you want to do is from your kneecap to middle arm, stand up straight. press this right here, move it, and right where it starts your kneecap, for mine is exactly 30 inches. So my middle finger can hit my kneecap, okay? That's how long we're going to make our arm. Now, depending on what kind of sling you want, it's two different measurements that you need to do. I'm making a long sling, which is 30 inches for my arms, meaning my arms are 30 inches long. Mainly just preference. I don't like short slings, they're not as powerful as long slings. They do have advantages though. You can walk around with them a lot easier without your projectile running out. You don't need to, really do it real quick, even with a no rotational throw. But they don't have a lot of power. So when you switch from a short sling to a long sling, all you're really risking is the time that it takes to do it. But what you're getting is a lot more power and a lot more accuracy. That's why people shoot with sniper rifles and not pistols when they're going for long distance accuracy. So that's usually what you go by. A long sling is good at longer distances and has more power. A short sling has shorter distances with less power. So you really guess about what you're going to be using it for. If you're, just for 10 or 20 yards, not 10 or 20 yards, 5, maybe 6 meters, which is 15 feet, then sure, use a short sling if you're that close to your target. Hell, just probably throwing a rock probably pretty good, but still use a sling. A long sling can be just about 10, maybe even 20 meters if you're a really good shot and you have a heavy enough projectile and your pouch is big enough. Now all I'm doing here is doubling up on it. I will show you after I'm finished doing this of what length and measurements you need, so you don't need to go through the trial and error like I'm doing it. Instead of the thinner is a few reasons. One, this is yarn, okay? It's not very strong to begin with. If this was a lot stronger like cordage or something, I wouldn't need to double it up for the strength. The second reason is, for me, it's another preference, okay? You could do this with shoelaces and it'd still work perfectly. But the thinner your string is, the easier it is to tangle. And braided line, no matter how thin the braids are, tends to tangle less. So this is 3 braided. It has more than enough strength for whatever I'm going to ask it for, and it's not going to tangle as much. If this was thinner, like thread or something, you do need to worry about weight. But this yarn, standard yarn, you can buy anywhere, 3-ply strands. Look, I could pull on this all day and it's not going to break. Okay, and I'm a pretty strong person. And that means anything I put in here that I want to launch, as long as it doesn't weigh, like 10 pounds or so. So, even with the centrifugal force and flying Earth's gravity with the G-forces going on, it still will not break. So yeah, that's just a little bit explaining before I get to the measuring and making more. Just wanted you to know that. Okay, now we all got this finished. This is for 30 inches of double, meaning you fold it in half, then you chain it. Okay, it's about 30 inches worth, a little bit more just because stuff is pretty stretchy. So let's measure it. Okay, this makes, I do it up on the calculator, 324 inches, or for you people who like feet, about 27 feet of single chain. After you make your 27 feet of single chain, remember this is for 30-inch arm. Okay, I have pretty big arms, I do understand that. So if you need to make more or less, do accordingly. Okay? After you have all this, you find the end of it. You find the start of this. Okay? You go all the way to the end, making sure that it stays nice and stiff. Now when I was working on this last night, and yes, this did take me just about 2 days to make, because I wanted to make it perfect, is I thought this was a pentagon. This is actually a hexagon. And each side of the hexagon, if I can use the right side of the ruler, is right around 4 inches in every direction. So if you actually want to make one of these, just print out a hexagon that is 4 inches on each side, and do that. But since I'm going to be making a few of these, I'm actually just going to trace this out on another sheet of down, so I don't have to make all the measurements again. I mean, I still have to do these dots and all that, but for the most part, you know, I can just keep duplicating these as long as I trace it out before I do anything. Okay. Now, these dots here, I know I already said it, but I'm overlaying the audio, since it was really loud in my house yesterday, and now it's pretty quiet since you can hear me talking. These are about half an inch from the end. The reason why I like to do a half an inch is if you do it right on the edge here, there's a large, see look, just pulling on it right here, large chance that there won't be enough fabric to actually stop this. If you really are paranoid about that kind of stuff, you can take 2 of these and sew them together, making this twice as strong. Or I know some people who actually put, not rivets, but little, you know, those round kind of button snaps, and they put them in there to, just for the fire, or they use something other than denim. Some people that I know actually use leather and other stuff. Now, the other shape you can do with this that I'm not really a fan of is a diamond shape. These long, elongated diamond. Which, they would take this, flip it over this side, okay? And they just go just like that, okay? They cut out all these extra flaps. I mean, that's really up to preference. I like these large hexagonal shapes just because, look, it can grab it here, it can grab it here most of all, okay? Now, you can make this in 2 types of pouches designs. You can make this self-tightening, or you can actually make a pouch out of it. How you make a pouch is you take a sewing needle and you just sew all the way through here until it cups. And it looks kind of like this. I mean, you know, a lot better and cleaner, but kind of like that. Then you just keep that sewn design. Other styles, they'll actually take that same sewing thread and they'll go through it with their shooting lines, so when they turn around, this tightens up, kind of like my other one there. But I do find lots of problems in that, like right when you want to sling it, sometimes it doesn't let go. So I just like these open hexagonal designs. Now that you have your 27 feet of this line, this is a single braided, single crocheted line. What you're going to do is you're going to string this all the way through the hole, and you're going to find the middle. I'll be back with you after I do the white and black. In the beginning of the video, you've seen that little, few desertion. Please watch the whole video before doing. This is the reason why. On one of the ends, you need to make sure that you leave quite a bit longer on each end. One may be 27 feet, one might be 28 feet. The reason is you want a little bit more of this and one of these. This is called your cracker. Just like on a crack whip, that's about all it's for. It's also more stability through aiming shots. You've seen my white one in the previous videos, how sometimes you'll hear it break the sound barrier. That's about all this is for. It's also for a little bit easier to grip on. This does get frayed, but never snaps. So, this is just a little bit extra. Hold on. This one is longer than the white one. So this is going to be the end that we're going to tie a knot onto. Then we're going to actually hold on to. Now after you string it all through evenly on both sides, a little bit more on your holder side than this side, start doing it. What you're going to do is make sure it's nice and taut. As you can see, we have enough to where we can pull this and it's not going to rip. Okay? And we're going to just loop it like we've been doing to make this chain, so you should be pretty good at it now. It's a little bit hard to get started, so you want it nice and tight on there. And the reason why I like doing it this way is if you screw up, you can always, start over. If your line snaps, or you want to use a different line, you can always change it, and there you go. And there you go, now you're done. Now how you secure this is really up to you. Some people like to tie a knot around this just so it doesn't move. Other people like myself, just like to wrap around. You can cut this string if you want to. It's really up to you. And just to show you, this is not, some super string. It's not that hard to make, okay? And I just like, that extra security that I have, this really attached to my finger. It does not go anywhere. Some people like to wrap the inside of it, kind of like a hoop ring. But overall, this is complete. Okay? Now, I know this video is kind of long, and I'm very sorry because of that. But this is a pretty, indent process. Now, we can't shoot rocks at my range, but I do live near a very nice place. So through the magic of editing, we're going to teleport to that place. Ooh.